Tom Brady speaking to the media after Tampa Bay wins their second game in a row, 21-16 over Seattle at the Allianz Arena in Munich. Welcome inside our HQ studios, Jeremy St. Louis alongside Jamey Eisenberg, Rick Spielman, Pete Prisco. Pete, I'll start with you here. What's your biggest takeaway from this game?
Bucs are back. I think the Bucs are ready to take over the division and become a factor in the postseason. They've had so many injuries this year, dealing with a bunch of stuff. They showed they can run the ball now with Rachaad White, which is important for them, but also Julio Jones getting involved is big. I think the Bucs are back.
I'll agree with you if they play like this. Tom Brady can't go out there and throw the ball 40-plus times a game. Their defense stepped up. They held Kenneth Walker to, I think, 17 yards rushing today.
Yeah.
They were able to run the ball. When they run the ball, you see a lot of those completions down the middle of the field, except for the pick Barton had. But other than that, Tom Brady was flawless today. And if they can run the ball to set up the play-action pass and they can play the defense the way they played today, I'll agree with Pete that they're back, but they have to show me on a consistent basis.
A lot of the questions were answered. I mean, can Chris Godwin make plays? He had a 19-yard reception and found the end zone for the first time. Can Brady get to multiple touchdowns? He did that. Can they run the ball? Got a controversy now. If Leonard Fournette's healthy coming off the bye, he didn't start this game.
Yeah.
He was outperformed in this game before the injury because Rachaad White looked better. And so now you're starting to see Julio Jones make some plays. You know, last week it was Cade Otton with the touchdown against the Rams. So they're finding other guys besides just Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So this offense looks like it's poised to, put up points, and that's certainly what we like as fantasy managers.
Okay, so Rick, where do you go from here if you're the Seahawks? Because obviously this is not a good loss for them. They go to 6-4. The 49ers are a team that are on the up. They hit the bye week. I mean, the Niners could be within a game a couple weeks from now.
Yeah, well, Seattle looks sleepless. Get it? Sleepless in Seattle.
That is the last movie he saw.
They look sleepy, yeah.
Yeah, the first half they had
that was the
0
joke you worked
points.
on?
Yeah, no, I've
yeah.
been working on that all
working on that
He
whole
said it
day.
in there before, so he definitely worked on it.
But no, the second half they came to life. They just got to go back to playing Seattle football. They were exposed in the run game. Usually they're solid across the board on defensive side of the ball. They got exposed today by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then Geno looked like who he is, like the old Geno.
In the first half, he did.
In the first half. In the second half, he came back to life. So they got to run the ball. They got to play good defense. And if they can do that, they'll get back on track.
Whatever they get this year is gravy. I mean, let's be real. Nobody expected this to happen, whether they make the postseason or not. This is about building to the future, and I love where they are from a future standpoint because they have a ton of draft picks playing. They have a ton of draft capital that they can build around. I'd love to be in John Schneider's shoes because he's got a chance to really bring that thing together and make it a really good team again.
In terms of, sorry, go ahead, Jay.
I'll say they'll get back on track. Geno, I think, as Pete alluded to, the second half, you start to see what he's still capable of doing. Can rally, a team and connect with his receivers. DK didn't find the end zone, but 6 for 71. Lockett scored again. They're figuring out who that third guy could be. Last week it was Noah Fant. This week it was Marquise Goodwin. Don't worry about Ken Walker. Great performance by the Bucs run defense. Their run defense is usually pretty good. Walker's going to be fine. Still one of the best running backs and certainly the best young running back in the NFL right now.
Yeah, Geno Smith was the leading rusher for the Seahawks in this one today. Speaking of leading rushers, Rachaad White, from a fantasy perspective, I mean, he's been on rosters, off rosters, a guy who's certainly not been favored, but now as you go into the next week, I mean, they're on a bye, so, you're going to have to wait for him, but Jamey, is he one of the top guys you're going to be going after?
So, we get the benefit of Tom Spencer, who was in the booth with Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, and he told us this 2 weeks ago when he had the Bucs and Rams, that the coaching staff was looking at making a change because Leonard Fournette had been awful. And not all of it was on him. The offensive line was struggling. You saw it against the Rams, season high, 8 carries. Then you saw him start the game. I don't know if that was the passport situation or not that they had planned, maybe just in case Leonard Fournette's not going to be ready. But starting the game and then this performance. And now you have the injury. So everything's starting to fall in the place of Rachaad White. So please make sure he's rostered. Please make sure you don't drop him going into the bye week. That's not going to happen. Don't drop Fournette either. But this is going to be a big topic of conversation going into week 12. Who's the best running back in Tampa Bay? Looks like Rachaad White's that guy.
And getting Chris Godwin running again is good. By the way, 7 straight games for Godwin with 6 catches, and he gets that first touchdown. Still waiting for Mike Evans, though. He hasn't had a touchdown in his last
Don't worry about him. He's fine. By the way, Brady tied Blake Bortles most passing yards in international game history.
Okay.
So they're tied.
All right.
Record, I'm sure Blake Bortles will love it. Tom Brady.
They'll be talking about guys like Rachaad White all week long on Fantasy Football today. You can download and follow wherever you get your podcasts. You can also just scan the QR code.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.